Hello and welcome. My name is Alan and we are back with more 2025 to 2026 state governments and officials. This was meant to be Sunday's video. Anyway, for this video we are looking at the state of Wisconsin. And yeah, up in the north of the nation. It's nicknamed the Badger State or America's Dairyland because a lot of what comes from there, or at one point did, was milk and milk products. You can even see this today. An NFL team is based in Wisconsin, in the city of Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Packers. And the name of their fans are cheeseheads. They wear the slices of cheese on their head. So yeah. But anyway, capital city is Madison, but the largest city is Milwaukee. State in the upper Midwest and Great Lake regions that borders Minnesota to the west, Iowa to the southwest, Illinois to the south, Lake Michigan to the east, Michigan to the northeast, and Lake Superior to the north. It has a population of about 6 million and an area of about 65,500 square miles or 170,000 square kilometers. It is the 21st state by population size, but 23rd by area. It has 72 counties, and its most populous city is Milwaukee, and its capital and second most populous city is Madison. Other big urban areas of note are Green Bay, like we mentioned before, where the Packers are, and the Fox cities. Now, with that, let's dig in to the Constitution of Wisconsin. Let's see. It has four tiers of government. Apparently it has the legislative, executive, and judicial like normal, and then it has an administrative is what it says. So that's interesting. Bicameral legislature. The Constitution was written at the Constitutional Convention held in Madison, Wisconsin in December of 1847 and approved by citizens of the Wisconsin Territory. So it is the same one they have had since they became a state, apparently, in a referendum held in March 1848. It was admitted to the Union May 29th, 1848, and although it has been amended over 100 times, the original Constitution ratified in 1848 is still in use. This makes the Wisconsin Constitution the oldest U.S. state constitution outside the New England area. Only Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont use older constitutions. And like was just mentioned, they're all in the New England area. So good on you, Wisconsin. Good on you. But with that, let's dig into the government a bit. There's the governor. So what we're going to do first is go over here to the government websites. Your governor is Tony Evers. I didn't pull these parts up. About the governor. There he is. Tony Evers. Tony Evers. I'm not sure how it's properly. Yeah, it says pronounced Evers. So yeah, Tony Evers. His lieutenant governor is Sarah Rodriguez. And we're waiting for the picture to finish loading up. There's Sarah. The Secretary of State for Wisconsin, also named Sarah, Sarah Godlewski. Then we have the Superintendent of Public Instruction, Dr. Jill Underly. The State Treasurer, John Lieber. But yeah, wasn't they also a state auditor? They may not have been. I may be wrong on that account. Very much easily could be the case. Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State, Superintendent, Treasurer. Okay, no, I'm right. I've got them all. So we're good on that account. So with that, we'll go ahead right quick and look at the cabinet for our governor. The Department of Administration, Kathy Blumenfield. Department of Corrections, Jared Hoy. Public Service Commission, Summer Strand. Department of Transportation, Christina Boardman. Department of Health Services, Kirsten Johnson. Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection, Secretary Randy Romansky. Children and Families Department, Jeff Pirtle. Family or Financial Institutions Department, Wendy K. Bauman. Office of the Commissioner of Insurance, Nathan Howdick. Department of Revenue, David Casey. Department of Safety and Professional Services, Dan Harith. Department of Tourism, Ann Sayers. Department of Workforce Development, Amy Pachasik or Pachakik. Probably Pachasik. Department of Veterans Affairs, James Bond. Really? James Bond? Okay. Anyway. Wisconsin Housing and Economic Development Authority. Elmer Moore Jr. Department of Natural Resources, Karen Hune. Economic Development Corporation. But it doesn't say there's a head or anything necessarily, so okay. But yeah, that's the cabinet. Like I said, let's go ahead and look at the governor since that's the case. Like we said, Tony Evers is the current governor. Serves 4-year terms, but there is no term limits. residency for the governor is in the Wisconsin Governor's Mansion in Madison, Wisconsin. Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Air Forces, duty to enforce state laws, and the power to either approve or veto bills, to convene the legislature, and to grant pardons, except in the cases of treason and impeachment. All powers are granted by the Constitution. The governor of Wisconsin has the strongest veto power of nearly any American governor. Any bill passed by the Wisconsin state legislature must be presented to the governor, who either signs it into law or vetoes it. In the event of a veto, the bill is returned to the legislature, who then may vote to override the veto. In 1930, the Wisconsin Constitution was amended to give the governor line item veto power, which allows portions of appropriations bills to be struck out without rejecting the entire bill. So governors have the power to strike out words, numbers, or even entire sentences from bills. The partial veto may still be overridden by the legislature. In 1990, a further amendment specified that the line item veto does not give the governor power to veto individual letters of appropriations bills, thereby forming new words. Despite the 1990 law, the strength of the governor's veto power gave rise to the term the Frankenstein veto to describe the governor's ability to form a new bill that subverts the intent of the legislature. And in 2023, famously, Governor Evers used the power to change a portion of the state budget that funded schools originally listed until 2024 to 2025 school year to 24-25. So, yeah, increasing the funding for over 400 years. So, the legislature said, we only wanted 24 to 25. Evers, using the ability to mark out certain numbers, changed a 0 to a 4, making sure the schools were properly funded. On April 18, 2025, the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled it within his constitutional powers. It's one of the greater things I've seen a governor do. Let's see, we talked about him being a commander-in-chief. Pardon, commute, or grant reprieves or sentences except in cases of treason or impeachment. Must also communicate to the legislature at every session the condition of the state and recommend such matters for them for their consideration as he may deem expedient, which is the State of the State speech. Very similar to what the president's supposed to give, a State of the Union speech. Administrative and budgetary powers. The governor of Wisconsin, as head of the executive branch, also has administrative powers, the power to administer agencies created by the Wisconsin legislature. Since 1965, there has been an increase in executive orders to establish standards and provide uniformity to executive agency operations and programs. However, since 2011, the Wisconsin legislature has attempted to limit the authority of the administrative agencies. The governor also appoints heads of agencies created by the legislature, so, yeah. governor of Wisconsin is directly elected. The candidate with the most votes becomes governor. If two candidates receive an equal number of votes, which is higher than that received by the other candidate, the members of the state legislature vote between the two at their next session. So yeah, in events of a tie, the legislature's like, we vote and pick. Governor usually leaves office because the term ends and he has not been reelected, but the governor may also leave office through any other means. For example, they may resign. There have been 2 governors to die while in office. So yeah. And actually, one died before taking office. Was elected, but died before taking the office. So, ouch. They can also be removed through impeachment trial or through a recall election. Okay, so with that, let's take a look at the list of governors. List of governors. Originally, a number of states owned parts of the territory or claimed parts of the territory that are now known as Wisconsin. Let's see. Your first governor of the territory of Wisconsin, 1836, Henry Dodge. Politician, military officer, member of the United States House of Representatives and United States Senate, first governor of the territory of Wisconsin, veteran of the Black Hawk War. His son would also be a U.S. Senator. So yeah, he was appointed by Jackson and kept by Martin Van Buren. He's followed by James Duane Doty, who is assigned by John Tyler. Doty was a land speculator, politician, and pioneer, second governor of the Wisconsin Territory, and 5th governor of the Utah Territory, playing a significant role in the development of both territories. Nathaniel P. Talmadge, also appointed by Tyler, was a lawyer, politician, and Wisconsin pioneer. 2 terms he would serve as U.S. Senator from New York, and the 3rd governor of Wisconsin. So yeah. And we finish up the territory of Wisconsin how we started. Henry Dodge, who was appointed by James K. Polk. So, we get statehood for Wisconsin, and the first elected governor for the state is Nelson Dewey. Lawyer, land speculator, politician, first governor of the state of Wisconsin, also served in the Wisconsin State Senate, and served several years in the Wisconsin Territory government before it actually achieved statehood. He was followed by Leonard J. Farwell, politician, public administrator, second governor of Wisconsin. He was followed by William A. Barstow. If I can get my mouse to move the way I'd like it to move. Thank you. William Augustus Barstow, businessman, politician, Wisconsin's third governor and second Secretary of State. His administration was infamous for their corruption involving the railroad industry. He's followed by Arthur MacArthur Sr. He didn't stay in office long at all. 4 whole days. Scottish American immigrant, lawyer, politician, judge. 5th Lieutenant Governor of Wisconsin. 4th Governor of Wisconsin. Serving all of 4 days. He's followed by Coles Bashford, lawyer, politician, 5th governor, one of the founders of the United States Republican Party. So, pretty important character, sounds like. Though his term would end in a bribery scandal that caused him to end up fleeing Wisconsin. And finally, bringing us into the Civil War, Alexander Randall, the 6th governor of Wisconsin, lawyer, judge, and politician from Waukesha, Wisconsin, was the 22nd United States Postmaster General during the Andrew Johnson administration. And like we said, 6th governor of Wisconsin, so he was followed by Lewis P. Harvey, there all of 4 months, 5 months, something like that. 4 months. Yeah, Lewis P. Harvey, or Lewis Powell Harvey, politician, 7th governor of Wisconsin, and 1st Wisconsin governor to die in office. He's followed by Edward Salomon, Jewish American politician, 8th governor of Wisconsin, ascending to the office from being a lieutenant governor after the accidental drowning of his predecessor who died in our office, as we just mentioned. 1st Jewish governor of Wisconsin. He's followed by James T. Lewis, lawyer, politician, 9th governor, 7th Secretary of State for Wisconsin, and the 4th Lieutenant Governor of Wisconsin. So the Civil War ends, and we have Lucius Fairchild become governor. Politician, soldier, diplomat, 10th governor, and was the U.S. Minister to Spain under Rutherford B. Hayes and James A. Garfield. Also was a Union Army colonel during the Civil War. So we're in the era of Reconstruction, a period where they try to enforce equality for African Americans under Republican leadership, and it's the earliest period we see African Americans holding office, getting to do things they hadn't before. So we're talking 65 through 77, 1865 through 1877. So yeah. Then we get Cadwallader C. Washburn, businessman, politician, soldier, and founded a mill that later became General Mills. Member of the Washburn family of Maine, and was a U.S. representative and governor of Wisconsin, and was a general in the Union Army during the Civil War. Then we get our first Democrat. Well, it says Reform Party. Okay, it's not the first Democrat. We had 3 early on. A Whig, and then we went on a long streak of Republicans. But this one apparently is a Reform Party member, William Robert Taylor. Politician, 12th governor of Wisconsin. And then we'll just read them off from here. Harrison Ludington, William E. Smith, Jeremiah McLean Rusk, William D. Hord, George Wilbur Peck, William H. Upham, Edward Schofield brings us into the 1900s, Robert M. La Follette, James O. Davidson, Francis E. McGovern, Emmanuel L. Phillip, John J. Blaine. That name sounds familiar. Lawyer, progressive Republican politician, because at one point, remember, Republicans did not have the same ideation they did now. 24th governor of Wisconsin, serving 3 terms, and was a U.S. senator and the 23rd attorney general. So yeah. Fred R. Zimmerman, Walter J. Kohler Sr., Philip La Follette, Albert G. Schmedeman, Philip La Follette, so same guy from before. Julius P. Hell, and here's the guy, poor guy that died before even taking office, Orland Steen Loomis. He was followed by a guy who actually died while in office, Walter Samuel Goodland. That's just a bad luck, string of bad luck there. 2 straight. One that died before office and the other died while in office. Then we get Oscar Rennebohm, Walter J. Kohler Jr., Vernon Wallace Thompson, Gaylord Nelson, John W. Reynolds Jr., Warren P. Knowles, Patrick Lucy, Martin J. Schreiber, Lee S. Dreyfus, Tony Earl, Tommy Thompson. Look at that. Longest serving governor for Wisconsin. 1987 to 2001. 14 years. So, yeah. Scott McCallum, Jim Doyle, Scott Walker. Ugh, I do not like that guy at all. He is evil, he is vile, he is a disgusting human being. Because I remember the evil he tried to spread. And then the current governor, Tony Evers. So that's quite a betterment from Scott Walker to Tony Evers. But with that, let's look at the state legislature of Wisconsin. There's a state senate and state assembly. The Senate president is Mary Felskowski, and the House or Assembly Speaker is Robin Vos. So it's a state senate, and instead of the House of Representatives, state assembly. So yeah, let me turn the light on in here. It's starting to get dark. Now, there's 132 total seats in the legislature. 33 are in the Senate. Current makeup, 18 Republicans, 15 Democrats. And there are 99 seats in the General Assembly, 54 Republican, 45 Democrats. So Democratic governor, but slim Republican majority legislature. Let's see. Not the history, qualifications and terms. Individuals must be a resident of the state for at least 1 year preceding his or her election and be a qualified voter in the district they were elected to represent. All 99 members of the Assembly are elected in a 2-year term cycle without term limits. All 33 members of the Wisconsin Senate are elected to a 4-year cycle, also without term limits, and then it's staggered, half the Senate every 2 years. But-up. Speaker of the Assembly, President of the Senate. The Lieutenant Governor used to preside in the Senate, but it's been changed in 79 with an amendment to the state constitution. But yeah. Now, with that, the courts, the judicial system. From the top to the bottom, we have the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Under that is the Wisconsin Court of Appeals. Under that, the Wisconsin Circuit Court. And lastly, the Wisconsin Municipal Courts. So yeah. And with that, let's jump to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. The members of the Wisconsin Supreme Court are elected to 10-year terms, but there is no term limits. There are 7 members on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, a Chief Justice and 6 associates. The highest and final Court of Appeals for the state of Wisconsin, then it must go to the federal system, usually straight to like a Supreme Court or one of the federal level courts at that point. But yeah, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is the last stop in the state. In addition to hearing appeals, it also has the option to take original jurisdiction of cases and serve as a regulator and administrator of judicial conduct and the practice of law in Wisconsin. Yeah, we've seen this in other states as well, where the Supreme Court deals a lot with setting up the justices and rules in the lower courts. So, yeah. Seven justices. Your Chief Justice, Jill Karofsky, with Associate Justices Annette Ziegler Rebecca Bradley, Rebecca Dallett, Brian Hagedum, Janet Prostowicz, or Prostasewicz. I'm not good with Polish names like that. And Susan M. Crawford. Following the Wisconsin Supreme Court, we have the Wisconsin Court of Appeals. A lot to it. Justices are elected to serve 6-year terms. They're the Intermediate Court of Appeals. Altogether, there are 16 positions. And it's divided up into districts, as you can see. District 3 in the north. District 4 down here. District 2 along the side here, except for this red square. District 1, which is where Milwaukee is. So yeah, like we said, Intermediate Appellate Court reviewing contested decisions from the circuit courts. Their opinions are considered binding precedent unless overruled by the Supreme Court of Wisconsin or federally. Unpublished opinions, though, are not binding. The court hears most appeals in 3-judge panels, but appeals of circuit court decisions in misdemeanor, small claims, and municipal ordinance cases are decided by a single judge. There are 16 total judges in the 4 districts. Districts 1 and 2 have 4 judges each. 3 judges in District 3 and 5 in District 4. The chief judge is appointed by the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and the chief justice is assisted by a deputy chief judge and a presiding judge in each district. So yeah, following the appointment of a judge, new elections for that seat are scheduled in the next spring election. So yeah, districts. District 1, like we said, Milwaukee, and contains only Milwaukee County. District 2 is chambered in Waukesha and contains Calumet, Fond du Lac, Green Lake, Kenosha, Manitowoc, Ozalki, Racine, Sheboygan, Walworth, Washington, Waukesha, and Winnebago counties. District 3 is chambered in Wausau and contains Ashland, Barron, Mayfield, Brown, Buffalo, Burnett, Chippewa, Dorr, Douglas, Dunn, Eau Claire, Florence, Forest, Iron, Kewanee, Langlade, Lincoln, Marathon, Marinette, Menominee, Oconto, Oneida, Outagamie, Pepin, Pierce, Pope, Price, Rusk, Sawyer, Shawano, St. Croix or Croix, Taylor, Timbelow, Vilas, and Washburn counties. And finally, District 4 is chambered in Madison and contains Adams, Clark, Columbia, Crawford, Dane, Dodge, Grant, Greene, Iowa, Jackson, Jefferson, Juneau, La Crosse, Lafayette, Marquette, Monroe, Portage, Richland, Rock, Sauk, Vernon, Waupaca, Waushara, and Wood counties. For the first district in Milwaukee, Chief Judge Maxine Aldridge, Deputy Chief Judge M. Joseph Donald, with Associate Justices Sarah Greenan and Pedro Colon. District 2, Presiding Judge Mark Bundrum, with Associate Justices Lisa Neubauer, Shelley Grogan, and Maria S. Lazar. District 3, Presiding Judge Lisa K. Stark, with Associate Justices Thomas Cruz and Gregory Gill. And finally, District 4, with Presiding Judge Joanne Kloppenberg and Associate Justices Brian Blanchard, Rachel A. Graham, Jennifer E. Nashold, and Chris Taylor. So yeah, that's a look at the Court of Appeals, and finally that brings us to the Wisconsin Circuit Courts. The judges there are elected to 6-year terms, no term limit, 261 total judges in the circuit courts, with apparently it looks like 10 circuits. One, of course, is again Milwaukee, the little bitty one right here, then number 2 right here, number 3 right here, number 4, number 5. Where's number 6? Is it this little strip up here? I think it is. Cause then we have 7, 8, 9, and 10. But the circuit courts are your general trial courts. There are 69 circuits, and like we said, 261 judges. The 69 circuits, nice, are divided into 9 judicial administrative districts. They both hear and decide civil and criminal cases. We done talked about election setups. Appointed judges serve a temporary term that expires for the next spring election, when they must be re-elected or a new judge properly elected. Jurisdiction. Limits on exercise of power to decide cases. Pleadings. Plaintiff, meaning the one bringing the case, starts a civil case by filing a summons and generally a complaint with the clerk of the circuit court and paying a filing fee. The summons provides notice that the suit has been filed against the defendant and notification that the defendant must answer the complaint. Complaint sets forth the plaintiff's allegations against the defendant, and it must contain a short and plain statement of the plaintiff's claim, identify the events out of which the claim arises, and demand relief to satisfy the plaintiff's claim. So yeah. For a criminal case, only the state may bring a criminal case. Generally, a prosecutor starts a criminal case by filing a complaint, and the court is directly involved in the criminal case from the beginning to protect the rights of the defendant. Parties have a right to discovery in a criminal case, but discovery is not as extensive in a criminal case as in a civil case because the state must have completed most of its investigation before bringing criminal charges. Yeah, District 1, Milwaukee. District 2, Kenosha, Racine, Walworth. District 3, Dodge, Jefferson, Ozaukee, Washington, Waukesha. District 4, Calumet, Fond du Lac, Green Lake, Manitowoc, Marquette, Sheboygan, Washada, and Winnebago. District 5, Columbia, Dane, Greene, Lafayette, Rock, Sauk. District 6, contained Adams, Clark, Columbia, Dodge, and Green Lake, Juneau, Marquette, Portage, Sauk, Washada, and Wood counties, but it was eliminated. So there is no District 6 by order of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, with the 11 counties that comprise the district reassigned to 5 of the remaining districts. Okay. So District 7, 8, 9, and 10. But yeah, that is a look at the state government and officials for the state of Wisconsin, which brings this video to an end, meaning we have one more state to deal with, and we'll be doing that in the next video. But for now, as always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources, not trash sources yet. And I'll be putting my links and sources in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.